All right. Got it. Okay, Adam and Derek, we are live. We are on the Speak Your Truth with Mark Ross podcast. I'm at it once again with my friends here, Adam Stahl and Derek Smith.
Oh,
The
no
topic of
government name.
discuss.
No government name.
Right.
D Smith. D Smith.
Oh, right. Hey, no government names, right?
Yeah. Too late. Too late. But D.
No government. No, okay, I'll use D then. How about that, bro? We won't go by no government names,
All
man.
right.
We're good. All right. Y'all call me M. Ross, man. How about that? Oh God. All right, man. We're here to talk about uh a perspective from a therapist, right? Uh and I wanted to talk with you guys in particular because one, I know you guys, and two, uh I know you guys. So when you guys talk, I know it's coming from a good place, right? So I wanted to bring you guys on and have this conversation. So I want both of you to do me a favor and tell the world who you are, um, what branch of the military you guys are from, because both of you are veterans, and what you guys do for a living. I'll start with you, Adam.
No government names, man.
No, AS, man,
Yes,
AS.
right. Oh, my name's Adam. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. Yeah, I was in the Navy for 7 years. I was a hospital corpsman, and I've been a social worker since 2011, and I've been doing practicing therapy pretty much since graduation. Did
Okay.
some case management and stuff, but mostly it's been one-on-one talk therapy, and doing different kinds of, group therapy, marriage counseling. But and I work for a hospital system now.
Uh, D.
So, D Smith, a licensed clinical social worker. I was in the Navy for 8 years. Um, just recently got my LCSW about I want to say 2 years ago. Experienced mostly with substance abuse, doing group therapy, some one-on-one therapy. Now just helping veterans stay housed through the homeless program where I currently work at.
Okay, cool. um, Thank you guys for again for sharing that information, and I'm thank you for coming. Uh, One question I'm gonna ask you, Derek. I'm gonna ask both of you guys this question, but I'm gonna start with you, D. What made you guys get into counseling, get into this career?
For me, it was actually seeing working where I work at, actually seeing two other uh therapists help veterans made me want to get in the field. And another thing was also, being a veteran, when you first get out of the military,
Mm-hmm.
there's some struggles. You go to these
Mm-hmm.
different say different hospitals, social service agencies. They have no clue where to point you at. And
Mm-hmm.
for years, just is going in circles until I finally caught on to the VA. I'm not sure how I did, but somebody somebody probably told me to go down to the VA.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I went the direction I went in, because information was not given to me say in a timely manner. Like
Okay.
20 years later, I found it out myself.
unfortunately, that's what we have to do, right? Have to figure some things out on your own. Brother Adam.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when I first got in the Navy, so I was a Navy corpsman, right? So the health field's always been my thing. And I wanted the natural goal, right? Is like, oh, you're a corpsman. Now you go nursing, PA,
Yeah.
nurse practitioner, something like that. And then I took my first chemistry class, and that cured that. Like, oh no. And I remember
Right.
I was talking to my wife outside the chemistry class saying, I'm gonna fail this. There's no way I'm gonna pass.
It's
And
over.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. And she was like, "Well, you like talking to people. What have you ever thought of doing like psychology kind of thing?" So I kind of fell into that, and I was working in a homeless program for vets, and as a case manager, and right across the hallway was a VA social worker, and I was watching her, and I'm like, she let me sit down on like a session or two. I was like, okay,
Right.
and that's when I knew. I was like, okay, that's what I want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Cool. Uh, Now, both of you are veterans, and you guys had your experiences dealing with the military. And this one question I want to ask, and I'll ask this question again as therapist, but I want to ask this question from veteran to veterans. How was the transition
Mm.
from being a military person to a civilian for you two in particular? I'll start with you, Adam.
Um, we have TAPS class, and I think that's the first time I heard about make sure you go to the VA to get your money, I think is what they said. Go to the VA, get your money. And then that was about it. When you get to whatever state you're from, make sure you go to a college. And that was it. And so, I mean, I was utterly lost.
Yeah.
Yep. Until walking around, talking to people, luckily, most veterans want to help each other.
Mhm.
And so I think just by that, and the grace of God, like, hey, have you talked to this guy yet? Hey, have you put in that paperwork yet? And slowly, hey, go to the VA, right? All those bumps and bruises that you have. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah, my jacked up knees and my back. Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes,
Yeah.
we don't think too right. Like, oh, you too? Like, oh, okay. Like, and then luckily that way is how I got in, but there was no guidance.
Yeah. D, same question.
So are you saying transitioning out the military to civilian?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Oh man, that in the beginning, I would say that was rough as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Job to job, uh,
Mm-hmm.
no income,
Mm.
wanting to stay isolated away from people. So
Yeah.
for me, I got a job as a delivery driver. Just being alone,
Mm-hmm.
really, really felt good to me when I should not have been alone, right? But transitioning, it was rough. Job to job, no income, moving from place to place for a few years before I got settled. So yeah, that was my transition, getting out. I think Adam mentioned this. Our class, when I got out of the military, it was held in a bowling alley.
It was what?
The class was held in a bowling alley,
Okay.
right? And you go through the process, the people giving their speeches. You got to do this, you got to do that. And being young, I wasn't trying to listen to that. I'm trying to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
When I
Yes.
should have been listening, but uh, towards the end of that class, it kind of stuck with me. They ask you a series of questions. What happened to you in the military? Right? This is your chance to explain all the aches, the ailments. I said nothing was wrong, trying to prove that I was healthy, a healthy individual.
Oh.
In
Well, look, you
actuality,
guys had
I had a lot of stuff going on, which I should have uh, said this and that. So yeah, that transition was pretty rough for me getting out.
man, no doubt, no doubt. Um, and I can relate to that because I went through the same thing. I went to this room where I had to bring all my gear, and I was specifically told to bring my dog tags. So when they gave me the option to stay or leave, I shot them a counter offer. So I said, well, I'll stay 2 years if I go to the special forces because I want to go airborne. They told me, well, for what you want to do, you got to do 4. I said, absolutely not. I'm like, I'm not going to give you 4. So, well, in that case, just turn in all your gear, give me your dog tags. And they took one. You know, it's 2 dog tags right on the chain. So they took one and they gave me the other one and shook my hand and said, well, you know, thank you. That was it for me.
Wow.
No more than like 5-7 minutes. And it was over. I was in my car driving home to Wisconsin from North Carolina. That was it. Very little sleep. Took no dose. My heart was pumping like a prized horse. I mean, my heart was pumping because I didn't want to fall asleep behind the wheel. So, yeah, that was my transition. So I get what you guys are saying. And, you know, then from there, going to school right away and not really knowing what it is to be a civilian, you know, but I'm just trying to make it. Yeah, it didn't work out for me either. It just did not work out. But I have another question for you guys. As licensed counselors or therapists, whatever word you want to use, have you ever noticed that the stories of trauma that you hear from your patients, how does that affect you? I'll start with you, Adam. Or does it affect you?
Well, so there is a thing that's called vicarious trauma. And so it's a real thing, is like when people are telling you these horrendous stories, it does have an effect on you. You know, and I think that's one of the things that I've learned the most, right? Is having like an internal barrier of like, okay, this is not my story, right? That's not me. That's this person who is my job to help, right? I can empathize, I can feel sorry for, I can sympathize, but it's not mine, right? And I think being mindful of, right, being there with the patient while they're talking to it, but not living it with them, I think is a very underutilized skill.
Okay. And I think what Adam just said, what's the word? Trying to just keep your stuff separate. Right.
Compartmentalize.
Right. And putting that to the side and just concentrating on that individual or a group of individuals.
Yeah.
Because it's really for them, right? And as a therapist, when you're dealing with stuff, you have to deal with it on your own time.
Yeah. Understood. Which leads me to ask this question. Did you guys ever bring work home?
Oh yeah.
Explain.
Yeah, I mean, like you can't help it. You know, like, you know, where I work, we get 8 patients a day, every day, right? And you know, but you get an hour lunch, right?
Well, that's good.
Yeah, so, you know, so you get 4 an hour lunch and 4 more. And so like usually during lunch, I'm busting out notes to try to just keep my head above water. But
Right.
you know, and so like that breaks down decomp time, right? So it's like I'm still thinking about patient 1 and 2, you know, while I'm trying to start working on patients 4 and 5, right? So there are times, but what I've done is I have a thing that I do every night before I leave. I go to our bathroom and I wash my hands. And it's just a kind of a symbolic thing of like, you know what? This is the end of my day. I'm leaving this
Indeed.
stuff here,
Yes.
and then I go home. And thank God for my wife, that lady. Whew.
Mm.
Like we get home and we have it set up. We have 10 minutes of just me just sitting, right? She'll say hi, how are you, stuff like that. But like we don't do our we call it our daily download 10 minutes after, because now I got time. Okay, now I'm home. Let me transition to home Adam. And then she's like, hey, how was your day? And then I can start thinking about, oh, this person said something, made me feel something, or wow, I was really proud of this person because they're doing better. But if it's before the 10-minute mark, I can't differentiate any of them. Like all the stories are jumbled together, but
Mhm.
it takes about 10, 15 minutes to like, all right, bring them all apart. But I think that just having that, our daily download, and we don't miss.
Yeah.
Yep. It's
Every day.
it's vital. Yeah.
Yeah. Indeed.
It-
D.
you know, because like the program I'm currently working with, it's such a number game. You have to meet these certain numbers. Do I take it home? The answer is yes. I so when I get off work, I turn up the work cell phone off because you got to take it home with you. I
Okay.
turn the work computer off, throw it in the book bag, and leave it alone.
Hmm.
Get
Yeah.
home, try to get a walk in, play with the dogs, and get a run in. But what gets me, what affects me is when I start waking up in the morning, right, an hour before work, I'm already thinking what notes I got to do, who I got to see, visit, what paperwork I got to turn in. So there's a lot of paperwork. So I do take it home.
You do.
Yeah.
How does your wife feel about that when you bring it home?
I really gonna talk to her about it. Only a few things that I need to process.
Yeah.
I really don't talk to her about it.
Wow. Which leads to ask, do you guys feel like since you guys can't officially talk about it, do you guys ever felt uh lonely or alone in your thoughts? Like, damn, I wish there was somebody that I could talk to about what it is that's going on in my head because I'm listening to so many other people talk about what's going on in their head. I can't get what's going on in my head.
So
Does that make sense?
yeah, so for me, what I said earlier, I do have a therapist and I do go to a group. So that helps me out and give me a chance to vent and
That's
talk.
awesome.
So yeah.
That's awesome.
Same.
That's
I,
awesome.
I have a therapist as well.
You do.
Yep, absolutely. And then, and it's a bond with other therapists. Like we
Mm,
get together and we know we're all mandated reporters. We know we're all right HIPAA bound. And
HIPAA,
so
right.
we can just and we can say things like, you know, like my wife will say, I'll start talking like a sailor again. And she's like, well, that's not therapist like. I'm like, I'm not a therapist right now. No. Yeah.
That's your cue to bring it back.
Yep. Yep. Reel it back in. You're getting a little too far out.
Yeah. Wow. I it's good to hear you guys say that because I don't think people realize how deep your professions are.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's like it goes deeper than just sitting down, you know,
Giving advice.
yeah, giving advice and stuff, but you guys are taking stuff in every day, all day. That's your job. It's like you're a sponge.
Hmm.
You have to listen to all this stuff, and it's like, and I'm quite sure that there's been some conversations that was had. Y'all probably was thinking, "What the fuck?" Right?
Oh yeah.
But you had to process it, understand it, and give it back to them in a manner that they can just, can understand and relate to. You can't just, you can't give your personal opinion on certain things. I'm sure at some point you wanted to, but it's like, if I say this, it's going to be the end of Adam, or it's going to be the end of D. There's certain things that you want to say, but you can't. So it's like you hold all this stuff in, and it's like, where's the release valve? And it's good to hear that you guys are seeking counsel from other people to release that valve. And I'll even go further. When I worked, when I spent my years working as a corrections officer, I myself was taking work home because I would come work upset, right? I would come home upset, and like you said, cussing like a sailor, you know, um, just not in the mood to be around nobody. And so I had to catch myself, because it's like it wasn't fair for me to come home and take the issues from home, I mean from work home.
Mhm.
So I did a ritual like you, Adam. I had, when I got in the car, I had to just breathe. You know, I'm leaving work at work. When I set foot in the house,
Mhm.
I'm going to be Mark. Mark is coming in, not Lieutenant Ross, but Mark. Mark is coming in. And sometimes I even went as far as taking my shirt off. I would drive home without, just with my t-shirt on, because I didn't want to bring anything from work home. You dig what I'm saying? I left. I had to, like you said, I had to compartmentalize. I had to know when to turn that on and off. Right? It was a hard process, but once I figured it out, life was just so much better for me because now when I leave somewhere, it's like, oh, I forgot about that 5 minutes ago. You know what I'm saying? I'm not bringing nothing home.
Mhm.
Zero. If it's negative, I'm not bringing it home. It's just not going to happen. So, thank you guys for that. D, I'm going to ask both of you guys this question, but I'll start with you, D, with this question. What is your methodology in helping your clients? What's your method of approach of helping the people that you work for?
Well, in the past, I was you heard of cognitive behavioral therapy. I really love that modality because you get to make the individuals think about their
Mhm.
thought patterns, and you get to challenge their thought patterns. That's what I relied on in the past, but right now I'm not sure if this is a modality. Just being honest, truthful with them at this point in time, and because the program I work in, you have to be honest. You have to really keep it 100 with them, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Ain't
yeah,
no time to play games to get them high. So CBT and just reality therapy, like, dude, stop playing, stop
yeah,
drinking,
yeah,
you're gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna just be totally honest with them.
yeah. I think that sometimes, depending on your relationship with the people that you work for, you have to be that dude, right? You got to be that guy to say, hey, I'm telling you what you need to hear, not what you need to know. You need to put that shit down. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it has to be that simple. You screwing up. And there's no other way to, to dress that up. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. If you're screwing up, I have to be that guy to tell you, you screwing up.
It reminds me of a guy that was in the SAR program at the VA that we all know. His famous thing was, "You ain't ready. You ain't ready." And these guys would be so pissed off at him. And they would come to my office. You know what he said? I'm like, What do you think that means? You
Right.
tell me I ain't ready. Oh yeah, like whew, in his cowboy boots.
Yeah, the go.
His cowboy boots.
But was he right though?
You was like damn near 100%.
Yeah.
But it's that thing, like so, and like D, yeah, I love CBT. It's one of my favorites. And D, like, it's people centered, right? It's
Mhm.
person centered. You're the only thing I'm focusing on right now. All this other stuff we'll get to, but right now, let me just get to know you. Because
Mm,
before you can come in and kick the door in, you got to have some trust,
mm,
right? And so that's why, like, my first 1, 2 sessions, like, it's just getting to know each other,
yeah.
right? And I always tell people this is a judgment-free zone.
Yeah.
Internally, I have my own thoughts about that, but that's not their issue. That's all me.
Right.
So I
Right.
hear some stuff in here that I am opposed to 100%, but I'm like, not my, right? Can I cuss?
Sure.
Yeah, it's not my shit, right? It's like, okay. Oh, so I still remember, like, and that's the thing is, like, every now and then you'll get this one patient that'll say something, and man, it sits and it's still it's locked in. I was working in Racine, and I was seeing the woman in this relationship every session. I mean, and she was young, she was good looking, like, but she would come in and say how her boyfriend was like beating her
Mm,
often. And
mm,
so I'm young. I'm like, well, bring him in. So she brings in this guy. I'm like, so I've been hearing, like, like sometimes you choke her, sometimes you hit her, and
oh,
quote unquote. And this is 2012. I remember this 12 years ago. He said, I treat trash ass bitches accordingly.
oh.
Like, okay, and we're gonna end session today. Thanks for coming.
Right.
Like, I'm,
Wow.
yeah, I'm like, oh, like, you want to talk? Those are the kind of things that you really start to learn. Like, and now, like, of course, I'm gonna tell the woman, like, get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
You can't do that. I mean, you can. They're gonna give you the yeah, but
Sure.
the yeah, but means I'm not being heard. I'm not being listened to.
Oh,
Right? So it's kind
yeah. But
of
mm. How often do you have to deal with that though, Adam?
kind of often. Not like that. Not like come in and like
Yeah, extreme, yeah.
and nothing like that. Like there are a few times like people will come in and like, and what keeps you there?
Yeah. Right.
Yep. And then they give you some lame excuse and you go, okay, is that enough?
Mm,
Right. And what basically, the way I feel like is we leave breadcrumbs, right? And we help the patient to like navigate all these intense feelings. Like, how can you think about leaving when you're getting your ass kicked every night?
mm,
Right? There's always that threat of violence. How can you think
mm,
about going to school or getting a job or doing anything else, right? Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you don't even have safety. Like, how can you do anything up higher when you don't even have the basics done?
mm,
And so it's like calming my own anxieties, right?
mm.
I mean, most of us come from pretty jacked up backgrounds,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so violence, especially domestic violence, it hits close to home.
Yes.
And so I got
Yes.
that little voice in the back of the head going, run, 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 get out.
Right.
You can't do that. Like,
Man.
and watch them go back. Like,
It's a sad realization, I would imagine, for you guys, or you in particular, Adam, as a counselor who deals with families and relationships. You see that, and you you talk to them and you offer them advice, but it's like like you said earlier, you got the yeah buts,
mm-hmm.
you know. So it's like it almost leads me to ask, why are you here?
Yeah, sometimes. Well, so, and that's why I made the comment about we don't give advice, because if you give advice, you're just going to get yeah buts, right?
Mhm.
This is the journey for the patient. Of course, I can tell you 9 different ways to get where you want to go, but it's not my journey.
Mhm.
So it's slowing down my own internal needs and being mindful of what I'm feeling. Like, okay, this isn't my journey, that's theirs. What do they need? How can I help them get there?
Mhm.
And day one, that's what we talk about is what are your goals?
Mm.
And it might not align with what I want for them, but again, it's
It's
not
not on you. It's
it's not
not
my
for you. It's not my shit.
yeah.
Yeah, and you know what, Adam, you make a great point because a lot of patients do want that advice. They
Mm.
do want that suggestion.
Yes. What do
Mm,
I
yeah,
do?
but yeah, but
They do want it, yeah.
yeah, but
I give them some corny thing like, quit smoking weed. Well, wow, I say, I'm like, well, I told you what to do. But
go ahead,
usually,
D.
oh god,
Oh no, I don't got nothing to say.
Oh, go ahead, Ad.
no, just saying, and yeah, usually it's not smoking weed. Usually it's like drinking, harder drugs, stuff like that. That you have to be like, hey, this is a death sentence.
Yeah,
What I'm getting a lot of is a lot of kids smoking weed.
yeah. Really?
Oh yeah,
How young?
I think I got an 11, 12-year old. Told me today they're going to go to school, go to the bathroom because that's where they all meet, and they have them have the vape pens hidden around there, so they just start reaching around until they find one and put it back
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
I don't know.
Wow.
Did you see me breathe? Because that's like,
You
oh,
know that I don't mean to go off topic, Adam and D, but I'm gonna because I see the same thing. I used to see the same thing when I worked at the correctional facility. The guys would, sneak stuff behind a mirror or behind a bed poster or something like that. And it, it, all I keep, all I'm envisioning is pipeline to prison.
exactly.
That's the phrase that's coming to my mind when you spoke about this 11-year-old kid basically saying fuck school, I'm just going to get high. I see school to prison
Yes,
up
you're
here.
correct. Yeah.
And it's a bothersome thing when you hear young kids talk about what the trifling things that they want to do, and it's like, how is that productive in your life?
Mm.
It's like they're so caught up in the pit. I'm not even going to say peer pressure because it's not even peer pressure anymore. It's just the enticement of doing dumb shit, right? Let's
No.
just call that thing. Let's just call it for what it is. These youngsters are so caught up on doing dumb shit and making it seem so glamorous that they would prefer to forego what could have been a good future for them if they kept their head on straight, did what they're supposed to do, pursue your goals instead of fucking off. Now, I'm not saying that every young kid and young adult is that way, and I'm not saying that every young adult and young kid will end up in prison.
Yeah.
But I am saying that there's a high probability
Oh yeah.
that your lack of integrity, your lack to the pressure of wanting to be a bad dude or a bad chick is going to fuck your shit up.
Mm-hmm.
And when it happens, you can't blame nobody but your own ass.
And then that's usually when I call in the parents because who are our first teachers?
Mm. Mom and dad.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Mom and dad.
I, so sometimes like when I've had enough and I'm trying to hold it, I'm like,
Mm.
I was working with this kid. Mom would come in every week, and usually like weekly appointments, you got to be sick. Like that's weekly appointments is for people who really need it. And every week she would come in and just blast on this kid. He was like 8, ADHD, like you could look at him and be like, okay, yeah, you got ADHD, like he's bouncing off the walls.
Sure.
And we're talking about anger and how he takes out and throws things. I'm like, well, why do you throw things? And he was like, well, when I watch mom and dad fight and they hit each other, I feel like I can do. I'm like, so I kind of look at those two, and I'm like, hey, buddy, I was like, would you mind stepping outside real quick? And I kicked him out of the office. I'm like, you two need to get your shit together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how can we as a group of adults tell your kid, hey, follow this path when you're not even close to it? Like, you're nowhere near it.
Right.
I mean, it's so
Right.
hypocritical.
Mm.
I think they came back once or twice more and haven't seen them since. Like,
I'm sure you saw a lot of dysfunctional parents.
oh yeah. I would say probably 9 out of 10. If I'm working with a child,
Mm-hmm.
dollars to donuts, man. I'm like, what are mom and dad doing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Mm-hmm.
and it sucks. Cause I mean, I don't want to oversimplify it. However, like, yeah, you talk to a kid. There's one of our another family systems, Bowen's theory of family systems.
Mm-hmm.
To draw this thing out, it was a whole map, but it would show like the kid, the parents, and then like their interactions between each other, and you can lay that thing out and be like, oh, right there, yeah, Bowen's family systems theory. It's But yeah, so like that's what I do is, and I always tell the kid, right? Because a lot of times they'll come in and the parent be like, yeah, Johnny does this, Johnny does that, Johnny, Johnny does this,
Yeah.
right? And you can see this kid like, you don't know me, right? I'm a stranger, and you're gonna come in here and tell me every bad thing this kid's ever done. Like that doesn't build trust. And so what it is, right, is I thank the child for coming. Like, hey, right, your family is like a car engine, and you're the check engine light. You're telling me, right, what you're doing is telling me that something in the engine is not running right. And usually it kind of takes the pressure off of them of like, you're not the problem, kid. It's them.
Mm.
It's
It's
like
them.
some
Yeah.
something's going on in the family, and
Yeah.
you're just the check engine light.
Yeah. 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 The parents are they're the foundation.
Yeah.
You're just the collateral damage.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But we're here to deal with you, but we
Right.
should be here dealing with the parents.
Yes. And a lot of times that's what'll happen, right? And in most communities, it's usually the mom bringing the child in
Sure.
and like, hey, will you bring the father in? And sometimes they'll come, sometimes they won't, you know, and I've heard it. I'm not crazy. I don't need to go in. I don't need to see a therapist because I'm not crazy. Stuff like
Right.
that. And I'm like, so
Right.
what are you telling your child? Like, but it's
Mm.
it's being mindful, right? And I hope I'm not alienating any of your listeners or anything like that. My
No.
my my goal, right, for my therapy, for this session, for everything, is to normalize people's thoughts and feelings of like, we don't have all the answers. All what we know best is mindfulness and self-care. Because you know
Mm.
what? If you're taking care of yourself, you got enough energy to take care of the people around you,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Be mindful of what you're doing. Be mindful of your anger. You did one, Mark, not too long ago, talking about anger, and that was a really good talk that you had. One of your podcasts was talking about anger and how it affects the family system. Like,
Yeah.
being mindful of that, saying, hey, and then not only being mindful, then taking steps after it, fix it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Doing
Yeah.
those good things. Like I've seen Dave done a couple of breaths. I've done a couple of breaths. Mark, when you get upset or you start getting in your feels, you mess with your bill, your hat. Like you set up.
Yeah, when I get passionate, yeah, I start to, I'm glad you noticed that though. I'm glad you noticed that. Because I care though.
Yes.
I see the madness, man, and what boils my noodle, guys, is that I don't think people give a shit. I don't know. I don't know what to say. You know, you can't rationalize craziness. I mean, D, help me with this. I mean, can you rationalize craziness? I mean, because the things that we see as grown ass men, you know, it makes me do this. You know, it makes me do this because it's like, why?
Like,
Why?
give me an example of crazy for you.
What Adam said about you know, people thinking that there's nothing wrong with them, but your kids is clowning. You're living in a dysfunctional environment, but you think it's cool. You think it's okay. It's not okay. Look at the kid. Look at the kid. The kid will tell you everything they need to know without even opening their mouth. Their actions will tell you everything. When they cut up in school, when they cuss people out, when they do things that they're not supposed to do, when they know they shouldn't be doing it, that is a sign something is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Something is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, I need some attention.
Yep.
I don't give a shit anymore. I don't give a shit. Something's wrong. Where do we start? Home.
Right. So I think every situation is different and unique. One family is
Yeah,
different from the other
it is.
family.
True.
One belief system is different from another belief system. But I think the thing for me, what I've been concentrating on lately, uh, on my I got a podcast, D Smith, let's discuss, where I not concentrate. I talk about there's a lot of domestic violence going on,
Yeah,
and
I've watched those. Good
it's a
shit.
lot of murder, suicide going on in the community.
Yeah, yeah.
So the
The level of crazy is high, man.
it, it is high. Just trying to figure out what's going on in that household can really help out. I think
Yeah,
what Adam just said, right?
yeah, yeah,
That Bowen, right? Or the family systems
Bowen, yep.
theory. Yeah, the Bowen. What causes this can
yeah,
definitely cause or a reaction to a comment, a kid doing something. Yeah, it's just trying to figure out what was going on in the
yeah.
home. Can really help if individuals want to seek that out,
That's
if they're willing to talk,
yeah.
right?
Agreed.
Because a
Agreed.
lot of people don't want to talk about what's going on in the
Yeah,
home. You keep that
in the
private.
yard. Right, right. I got a question, guys. In the chat. My man Curtis Fisher, who's also Army veteran, he asked, "Why do we bottle up the anger and be a ticking bomb around loved ones?" I'll let you guys answer that if you can. Why do we bottle up that anger?
So for me, there's so many things where the society, right? As men, we don't talk. As veterans, we don't talk. What was your
We
belief
really don't talk.
system? What was your belief system growing up? Did your father hold it in? Did your mother hold it in? Was the whole family not talkative? Especially once we get in the military, right?
Mm,
We were told just do your job. Do your
yeah,
job. 8 years later, as a vet,
yeah.
when I get out, I still have the mindset, shut up and do your job.
Mhm.
When we should have been conditioned, you need to talk about it. You need to talk about it. You need to talk about it. We're getting to that point right now, but holding your anger in is definitely not good at all. So I would advise you to talk to somebody.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed.
Yeah, and then like yeah, D, yeah, spot on, right? Like do your job, shut up. And then like people at home while you're in are like, rah, 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 boy, we're the woo. But as soon as you get your DD 214, shut up. I don't want to hear about it anymore. Right. And so now you're like, well, hey, I experienced this. Yeah, but you're not in. Go to the VA. Right. And so now like you're trying to tell people, hey, I have feelings, and they're like, the yellow ribbon around the oak tree is done. Like,
Yeah. And some people don't believe you.
oh,
You know, it's like the kid that's crying wolf. It's like, damn, nobody believes me.
Mhm. And so
All right, let me blow up this damn building.
let
Maybe
me
I'll
show
get
you.
somebody's attention.
you know what? So with the anger, right? Anger is just a primary that top emotion, right? What is underneath that anger,
Ooh,
right?
terrified them, D.
It,
Terrified
now,
them.
now, yeah, now we digging deep. Now
yeah,
we digging
is
deep,
it
guys.
fear? Is it resentment? Is it jealousy? It could be a whole number of things going on, but trying to identify what is causing that anger can definitely help out.
There's always something underneath, right?
Yeah.
Like
Indeed,
feel something.
indeed.
Anger is just a blanket that covers it. Usually, it's fear or sadness for me,
Hmm.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because in our society, you can't be scared, you can't be
Hmm.
sad. Shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Get,
Yeah,
get out there and go
yeah.
kill.
Right, right.
What's this guy's name?
Let's Curtis.
Curtis, man. Hey, man, we hear you. You're not alone in this fight. You
Nope.
have people available.
Indeed, brother. Indeed. Yeah, like I said, he's an Army veteran as well, man. And I've
Army's
known him
almost
since I yeah,
it's almost like the military.
yeah.
Curtis, I gotta say say that.
I didn't want to say it, so I'll
Right.
let you say it. Curtis, we love you, man. We love you. But I'm going to read off some statistics as it relates to veterans. D. Uh, Adam, you can respond if you want to, but this is more related to D because of where he works, right? 50% of returning veterans are in need of mental health treatment. This was a statistic that was placed in 2021. And I have another one here from November of 23. Nearly 1 in 4 active duty members showed signs of a mental health condition, and suicide rates for veterans is 57% greater than non-veterans. What do you say to that? Can you relate to that in your practice?
Not in my practice, where I currently work at, but I would say
Right.
that the information is not getting out before the transition phase, right? I think they're starting to work on this. Before they get out, information should be relayed to the vet
Mhm.
that you can seek help right now, make connections to your local VA
Mhm.
right now. I think they
Right now.
starting to do that, but I'm not sure how
Yes.
far they got with that. But
Mhm.
I would say the information is not getting out, or they're not properly being diagnosed while they're in. That could be another issue.
Yep.
Are they
If
seeing
they
that
if they are
psychologist?
if they're diagnosed,
I
yeah.
yeah, I doubt if they're seeing a psychologist while they're in.
Boy, that's a career killer.
Yeah, yeah.
Over.
Yep. No way.
So
And then
so so changing the culture in the military around that would be very helpful. But I think the information is not getting reaching those veterans before the transition phase, which
Mhm.
should be done.
did you guys ever hear the guys like when they're getting off the plane, right? And they're just changing command, right? And then they get
Mhm.
said they got all their family, right, standing in front of them waiting, right? People are waving, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Hey, any of you guys feeling like PTSD stuff? Need to have a talk, or do you want to, right, or go see your family?" Like, who in
Oh
their right
wow.
mind is gonna go, "Oh yeah, no, I need to go talk. I don't want to see them yet." right? So it's almost like skewing the data already, even from the beginning, because nobody is gonna,
Right.
unless they're like really struggling,
Right.
are gonna like bypass family in order to go do that thing.
Right.
Absolutely not.
For sure. Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Uh, if you guys have any questions to ask of D and Adam, please do so. If you need help and would like to talk to somebody, call 211. Reach out. Don't be afraid to speak up and speak out on what's going on with you guys. We are here at the Speak Your Truth with Mark Ross podcast, and I'm joined by two good brothers, D. Smith and Adam Stahl,
Hey,
licensed counselors. Go ahead, brother.
I was gonna say, if you can give the 1-800 number for the suicide crisis line for veterans. I want to say is I don't want to get the wrong information, but you can get that number also. Because I think what 211 do is they're gonna reverse them back to another provider or another contact.
I think that's 988.
Yeah, 988, then press 3
988
to reach
for
the veterans
crisis,
crisis line. Yeah.
suicide
Yeah.
crisis hotline. Yeah,
Yeah.
988 guys.
Yeah.
Yep, 211 or 988. Yep. All right. Question for you, well, for both of you, but I'll start with you, D, with this question. What is it like dealing with difficult clients?
Oh man.
You work with veterans, so I'm sure you got. And he said,
So I think having why having patience, right? To be honest, having patience, having patience and the end goal. Because man, that shit could be hard. Especially when you start to take things personal, which you should not, but we're human beings.
mm-hmm,
I'm
mm-hmm.
really trying to help you, but why are you not? Why are you being resistant to the help? So just I think
Right.
just having patience.
So you're not freaking listening to me.
Yeah, gotta have patience in the job I
Dig it,
do.
dig it. Same question for you, Adam.
Yeah. Yeah, patience, right?
Mm,
Managing that self-talk in your brain.
mm.
Um, I had this kid, she was like 14. Mom was making her come, and the kid even said, "Mom can make me come, but she can't make me talk."
Mm-hmm.
And so I asked mom to leave, and we sat here for one whole session just staring at each other.
Wow.
In my head, I'm going, "Oh my God, say something." And then I think the next session, she can't make me say nothing. Okay. And around about half the session, she's like, "Are we gonna say anything?" I'm like, "Oh my God." Like, whoo. Like then we can start talking.
Yeah.
Right.
But by then, but it's that thing. It's a tug of war. But there was a like a documentary, and I think it was called Buck, and it was about the horse whisperer, the guy who was the horse trainer for that movie, and he was doing this thing of like, the horse is 2,000 pounds. If he wants to lift you, he's gonna throw you, right? So people are trying to fight with the rope on it. He goes, what you do is you hold the rope, but as soon as he pulls you, you let go, right? So there's never this tension of like, I'm controlling you. And so in sessions like that, right, they want to fight. That's why they're being difficult. It's like, okay, now it's a power struggle. So I don't struggle. Like, okay, if
Yeah.
that's what you want to do,
Right.
you might not be happy with the results, but hey, I'm not against you. And so it's that, I always tell them, yeah, you're in control. So I can leave if you want.
Yeah.
It's your shit.
Yep.
Like,
I'm
it's
not
your
going to
shit.
tackle you.
Right.
And
It's,
but yeah, usually, right? I mean, besides personality disorders, Like if you got a personality disorder, that's a whole other street.
Hmm.
Like see, do you smile? That's a man who's worked with somebody with personality disorders. But
Yeah,
yeah,
the personality disorders with the drugs on top of it. Yeah, super
Ooh.
difficult.
Mm.
do you see this thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see it. We see it, Adam, right there. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Man. As counselors, guys, do you have a time frame of uh of how long you'll be dealing with your patients, or is it ongoing until they get better or they say, you know what, we don't want to deal with you anymore? You can start,
Hmm.
Adam.
According to my organization, there's X amount because we deal with insurance, so they want results in
Mm,
X amount of sessions. I don't believe in that, right? I'll tell this I start every when a patient comes in first appointment, I always tell them the end goal is that you don't need therapy because people do get attached to us. We are like your best friend all rolled into one. We don't judge, like we're here to
yeah.
help you, so people get attached. But it's
Hmm.
also like, but if I always tell like the kids, if I'm seeing you when you're 35, I'm not doing you any favors. Like this isn't forever. Adults, it's different than kids, but like there should, in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, we can get this done in X amount of months, but really that to me, that's it's very loose because things change, things come up, but
Yeah. Yeah. D, how about you?
Uh, so where I work at right now, I'm gonna be dealing with them until they leave the program or graduate the program. Working at a residential facility, the tops was 6 weeks, right? 7 weeks. It kind of depends what the facility organization want, right? So the homeless program is going to be until they graduate or they don't want to do the program no more. Residential 6 weeks. So it kind of
So,
depends.
okay, so you work for the homeless department in particular, correct? Or you provide counseling
Yes.
to the homeless section of veterans?
Not
Okay.
not counseling. I want to get back to counseling because I really missed that. This is more case management.
Basement. Okay. Okay. Have you have you ever encountered uh veterans who messed up uh their home privileges, whatever? I forgot what that's called when you link homeless veterans up with housing. I forgot what that's called, but um, have you ever encountered veterans that screwed that up?
Not yet. I haven't,
Oh,
but
good.
other people in the program have definitely experienced that. Having veterans not paying rent,
Mm,
not making appointments with their case managers, not answering the phone. So there could be a number of reasons why a vet will mess up the housing situation.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and they're given basically a golden opportunity, you know, to be established, right?
Yeah,
And it's heartbreaking as a veteran too to see other guys and women for that matter, go through what they go through, and they go through it to such a degree that you could give them the world and they will still screw that up. You know what I mean? Because they're so far into they're so far gone in here, they can't see, the blessings that's right in front of them because this is it's something else going on up here, you know? And uh, it's just so much going on in the world, brothers, that you know, like you said, like both of you guys said, you have to shut the fuck up and do your job, compartmentalize, and do your job.
Yeah, yeah. So you know what, I think for me the part with the housing program, what are you gonna do with this opportunity, right? You're down and out, they're providing this assistance, you get the housing. So what's next? Is it just to stay in the housing forever, which is okay, right? Or is it to use this opportunity to what Adam was saying, that hike your knees, right? Go on to the fulfill some other dream you have, and to move on so another vet can take that spot. So it kind of what are you using what are you going to use it for, right? And I think either way is quite all right.
You remember, Mark, that the wing that you and I used to work in, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember the one guy in that program was 100% service connected and left had $0 in his savings account and had like 30 pairs of sneakers? Been in the
It was a
program
while
like
ago, man.
20 something times. Like it's hard not to get jaded, and that's why, like, because you go in there and you're like, the game,
Yeah.
right, like, right, you pointed out all day, well, that's criminal thinking. Like, ain't gonna catch me. Yes, we are.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. It's just a matter of when, Oh, God.
Hold on, Mark. It's weird. I'm glad you said that, Adam, because it's two ways, right? You know the people that's on bullshit, but you know people that's gonna want to help.
Yes,
True.
yes.
True.
Right.
True.
So as a therapist / counselor, whatever you want to call it, we meet these people where they where they at. Then you just take it from there, right?
Nice
Yeah.
reframe, D. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Look at you guys. Look at you
I
guys.
know.
See?
Therapizing me. I love
That's
it.
why I talk.
Thank
That's
you.
why I mess with you guys.
Right, but this right
This
here,
is why I get.
this is exactly what we do, right? Is like, if my thought pattern starts getting off, a real friend will be like, hey, man,
Bring that back. Bring
Mm.
that back. Bring that back. Yes, sir. Man, I love this, man. Looking at the chat, Curtis made another comment. He said he went through case management with NAB vets, and some vets need strict guidance, like in the military. And he said he appreciated the assistance he gave those who are self-sufficient a second chance. So
Right.
he went through some case management, and I know for a fact he was real. He was one of those real ones,
Yeah.
He came in for some help,
I'm glad.
and
Sounds like you got it.
yeah. He's in Texas now, and he's 100%.
My saying when someone gets 100% is, I'm glad you got it, but I'm sorry you need it. Like, I know that's a game changer, for people who struggle, who are like, who can't get that, can't hold down a job or can't do these things. So, like, I understand it. I'm sorry you need it, but I'm glad you got it. I hope
Yes,
he's doing
sir.
good down there in Texas.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Well, so far he's doing all right.
All right, Curtis.
He's doing his thing. He's out there living one day at a time. Last question. Do you guys have any outside activities? And if so, what do you guys do?
Go
Because
ahead.
you guys need to do something to help out with, saying with your job, and what do you do outside of work to help you refocus?
Travel. I like to travel, but that costs money.
Yeah.
Music. I love listening to music. And there's a thing, it's called Hives for Heroes. I just joined it. And what it is they will find you a beekeeping mentor locally for you, who will teach you how to keep bees, and then they'll split a hive and give it to you after a year, so you can start your own hive. So I just started that. I just I'm gonna buy my first beehive, and yeah, we're gonna try it.
This is
Hive
good stuff,
for
man.
heroes.
Hives for heroes. Good deal. Good deal.
Right.
What about you, D?
For me, it's just the walking, running, uh, doing that, and I just recently started going to bingo with my wife, and I really enjoy that. So
What's that?
bingo, bingo,
Bingo.
Oh, bingo.
bingo,
Bingo.
every Sunday.
Where are we meeting
Adam?
up?
I have my bag and everything, my dabbers,
You got your dabbers.
my dabbers. Yes, sir.
Oh man, he's so proud of that, Adam. That old guy.
With the knit bag too.
Right.
He's becoming his parents.
Absolutely.
Like the
You
one
go,
commercial. Yes, sir.
you go to Pato?
Now do the pod. It's just your local bingo halls in the neighborhood. Yeah,
That's what's up, man.
Just
That's
saying.
what's up.
yeah.
Oh God.
What about you, Mark?
What do I do? Well, I do this.
Nice.
I that this is therapy for me. Getting to talk with people about real things that's going on in our homes, in our lives, helping people. uh that's my goal, man. And doing this is therapeutic for me. It is. I want to even go further, say that this is probably a calling in my life, because I take this very serious. That's why I hold my hats
That's right.
when I do this, because I get that tunnel vision, man, when I hear something and it's like, let's go down this rabbit hole for a little bit. You know what I mean? So I plan this, and yeah, man, I smoke a cigar every now and again. So that's
We should get together and hit a stogie once. That'll be fun.
Yeah, for sure.
cool. Let me know, man. You know that spot across the street from Crawdaddy's, Havana. So yeah,
D?
we can, yeah.
Oh.
That's where we met, or across the street from that cigar spot,
Yeah.
Crawdaddy's.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cigar spot right across the street from there.
I must not have been invited to that one.
No, you were not. No, it was for some other stuff, Adam. But let's plan. Let's plan, brothers. Let's
I
plan to
love
get
that.
together
That's a
and
good time.
yeah, let's plan.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
yeah, cool. I'm with that. I'll hold you guys to that. Adam, what is your contact information? How can a person contact you if they have any questions about you,
About me?
wanting to talk with you about what it is you do, how to get involved in
Sure. My
working with you?
I'll even give you my personal email address. It's all one word, vets helping vets at rocketmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
EETSHELPINGVETS at rocketmail.com.
Right. And you, D.
They can Time Taker
What's that?
LLC. Time
What's
Taker
that?
TI.
Time Taker?
Yep, Time Taker LLC at gmail.com.
Okay. I'm writing that down for me. So, do you guys have anything that you would like to share with the audience?
Yeah, can I share something real quick? Yeah, check me out
Sure.
on Facebook,
Uh-huh.
YouTube at D Smith Let's Discuss. D Smith Let's Discuss, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. I'm here for you. I'm your boy.
What about you, Adam? Anything else you want to bring out, or
stay strong out there, reach out, talk, and just want to give a shout out to rest in peace, Dr. Reverend Ed Hearn.
Yes.
Love
Yes,
Mitch.
sir. Yes, sir. He was a good dude.
Oh
Good
man,
dude.
that
Rest in
that
peace
one
to my
kind of
brother.
hit. I was like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah, because I met him through you.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes,
that
sir. Ed
guy.
Herman. He was a good
He's
man.
the one that
Good
got me
man.
into Toastmasters. I saw his speech at the VA, and it was the
Mm,
best speech I ever saw in my life, and that's
mm.
why I started. Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah,
Yes, that's right. You are a part of yeah, Toastmasters, right?
I was.
Yes, you are.
Yeah,
Oh, you was. Okay. Okay.
but it was but that guy, what a beautiful soul. I hope his family and I hope everyone's doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we miss him.
Indeed, brothers. Indeed. Well, uh I hope you guys had a good time with me, and because I had a good time talking with you guys. Um, love you, brothers.
Love you too,
And
brother.
again, I appreciate you guys, and I thank you guys for taking the time out to speak your truth with me and really give a different, perspective, a personal perspective on what it is to work your profession, because it's not for the meek at all.
Yeah, and I think that was just a tip of it, right?
Hmm.
We could have went a lot deeper because there's so much shit involved with it. Uh,
Yes, yes.
Part two.
the good parts, the
Part
bad
part
parts.
two. We could
You know
do a
what I
part
mean?
two.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we can definitely do a part two to this. I mean, if you guys are up for that.
Part two live, so we could do cigars and little
Ah,
drink
nice.
while we're doing it.
At a cigar lounge? Nice.
Ooh, ooh, hey. I like how you think, D.
Love it.
But that's something we can definitely
Let me
talk
know.
about. I'm
Absolutely.
with it. Cool, cool. Well, if you guys don't have anything for me, I'm going to sign out. And once again, guys, I appreciate you taking the time out to come and speak your truth with me. This is the Speak Your Truth with Mark Ross podcast, and we are signing out for this week. So stay tuned for next week's podcast, and thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you,
Y'all
Mark.
take care. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, D. Appreciate you guys.
All right, have a good one.
Have a good one, man. Peace.